All right, everyone. So I've played over 10 hours of Killing Floor 3. Now, I was so excited for this game to launch. I was a little bit nervous because we had some problems with it being delayed. I know a lot of people, had their criticisms of the game, especially after the beta, and I think some people still do. So I want to be clear that I'm giving my thoughts on the game, but I'm not necessarily someone who is a Killing Floor, diehard. I'm a diehard in the sense that I love all of the games and I like Killing Floor 2. Didn't really play 1 as much, but I loved Killing Floor 2. And 3, I've played a lot since it launched. But there is a group of people who have been diehard every day playing those games for years, and I do think it's important that I get out there that I think their opinion matters actually a lot more than mine on this game. So if you're one of those people, put your thoughts on the game in the comment section below because you're kind of the main target audience that should be, the developers should be going for. With that out of the way, I'm going to give my thoughts about 10 hours in. Now, right off the bat, you kind of get the impression that this thing is a great foundation that needs to be built on, right? So going from a game like Killing Floor 2 that has been out for so long, has so many mods, has just such a great community, and has been worked on all the time for all of these years, you understand that you're walking into a game that's now just starting out. So it's kind of one of those weird situations where you go from a game of extreme content to a lack of it early. I think this game gives you enough to keep you playing for a while. The locations, there's a decent amount, but there's not a ton. The mobs, there's like just enough, or I guess I don't know what they're Zed, right? There's enough to keep you playing. It is repetitive, but I've had fun doing it, right? There's been no instance where I felt like, you know what, I'm really bored with this, even 10 or 11 hours in. I understand some may be bored, right? I understand some may find it quite repetitive. So the mission structure, I liked how they had it. I didn't hate it. They have these weekly challenges as well. I actually was able to beat one. You could check out that video on our zombie channel. I was actually able to beat that. So I've had a lot of fun doing it. On top of that, you have classes and you can rank all the classes up. That I also think plays into the replayability factor. Even if you feel like you're playing some of the same stuff, right? You have different, obviously, difficulties that you can play on that get more and more extreme. When you play with other people, it gets a little bit harder. There are various things that keep you going, right? There's skill trees, there's perks. Let me tell you this: the perks in the skill tree, I think it's perfectly done. I'm looking at the skill tree. It's not one of those things where you have to, um, go ahead and figure all of this different stuff out. It's so clear and so concise what your choices are and what you can do on the skill tree. And I believe you could almost respec at any time. That's what I'm thinking you could do. I might be wrong on that, but I think you're just able to respec at any time, which is also quite cool. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know, but it seems like that would be the case. Either way, you have all these different classes, you can rank them all up to the top, and so that gives you more than enough time to play through this game, and you add in maybe the weekly content they continue to add. There's so much there. The weapons, there's still, it's interesting because there's a good amount of weapons in the game just due to the fact that there's all of these classes. But within the classes, you're really only getting 3 weapons. Now you can adjust, I shouldn't say 3 weapons, counting the pistols, it's a little bit more too, but individually, I don't think there was a ton of weapons for each one. You can customize them though, and each Zed has these different weaknesses and strengths. So if you're playing with a team, you could say, hey, put this on and I'll put this on and try to go after some of the mobs. You could just, like I said, I put a drum mag and the electric ammo on, and the reason I did that was because the biggest enemy that I had a problem with, their weakness was that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put these on. These are so annoying to kill, but when I put this kind of electric ammo, it works. And that was actually really helpful. So that's kind of what my thoughts are, right? I mean, I understand kind of both sides. I understand why some people are like, this game's so fun because that's how I feel. I also understand when people look at it and go, I'm going to wait on this because there's still, there's not this crazy amount of content at launch. It's really the foundation, and now how they build it is going to determine whether this game succeeds or fails long term, but I think this launch is a really good start. There also are some obviously technical hiccups and little bugs and little things like that, but to this point, at least for me, I'm playing on a PC. I have not had anything seriously wrong. There was one kind of annoying thing where when you play online, I couldn't see, like, only the host was able to actually see the mission objectives that needed to be completed. That was a little bit annoying. Maybe it was because we were different levels, me and the person we were playing with, I was playing with, but I just thought that was kind of like, well, at that point, what's really the point of it right now? I know maybe you can match make and that would work, but still, I think they have to get a little bit of that. There is kind of like a battle pass thing, which as long as it doesn't become way over microtransaction-y, I don't think it's a huge problem. I don't mind the battle passes, right? Especially if in the battle pass you could get the next battle pass. I don't mind that at all, because that means you just buy it once and then you're good for the rest. You can, as long as you're playing the game, you can get all the way through. There are some cool things in it. There are some things that I'm like, I don't know if this really is great. Like this kind of just a filler, but it's also the first one. And I've looked at the roadmap, and I'm happy to say I think there's a lot of good things coming for this game, right? I think there's a good foundation here. The bottom line is that it feels great, right? The movement, the shooting, all of that is fine, right? So the main mechanics of the game, the main gameplay loop, I think is a lot of fun. It's just about adding that content around it. And there are so many things that they could do. So you can add more classes, you can add more maps. I would tell them kind of the weekly challenges, all of that kind of stuff. I love them. Put them in there, right? Give really crazy challenges and new things and new themes that come out of nowhere for people to do to keep it interesting. Because I'm sure once I've ranked up all the classes, and I haven't even gotten through one yet, once you rank up all the classes, I'm sure people are going to be, what's next, what's next, what's next. So I think there's a lot of great stuff on this, and I cannot wait to continue to play this game. So I don't know how many more videos on this channel we're going to be doing for Killing Floor 3. Maybe I'll just do one, when I'm ready for a full kind of review on it on this channel. But we have a zombie channel, and we started that specifically for games like this. So you can go check out that channel. It's in the description below, and you can watch us. We're going to be actually playing this game a ton. That's how much I like this game, that I'm like, you know what? We're going to take a entire channel and dedicate a lot of that channel to this. So thank you all for watching.